It's the Beat Break Morning Show with Sean Garvey and the crew.
Good morning. It's the Beat Break Morning Show, and you're still rocking with the best. Sean Garvey, DJ Rollum, and Star Kells. Make sure you follow us everywhere on social media at Beat Break Radio, Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Welcome back to the Beat Break Morning Show, ladies and gentlemen. And I have a special guest on the live line here. Another special guest here on the morning show. She's more than just a special guest. She is a citizen to the Beat Break Morning Show universe. We had her on Love and Poetry a couple of months ago with our very good friend and our alumni to the Beat Break Morning Show, Miss Sharia Thomas. And this woman of God has a new journal out right now. She's actually going to be doing a book release party in a few days, in which we'll get into in just a few moments. But the name of the new material is called Let Love Be Your Guide, Volume 1. It is a 30-day devotional journal on healing from a divorce or relationship. We are welcoming Dominique Shantel to the Beat Break Morning Show. Good morning, Dominique. How are you?
Good morning. I am well. Sean, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Definitely feeling the glow.
Absolutely.
Definitely feeling the glow. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Can I be very transparent with you this morning?
Yeah.
You seem a lot more happier than you did when you was on with me and Sharia a few months ago on the Love and Poetry podcast. Because we were, just for people that are not aware, we had Dominique Shantel on Love and Poetry. It's another podcast that me and Sharia do outside of the morning show. And we had you on to talk about life after marriage or life after the divorce.
Yeah.
And you was very candid about all the things that you and your now ex-husband went through. It was a 10-year marriage?
It was.
A 10-year marriage. 10 years. But you all knew each other prior to the 10-year marriage.
Yes. So we were high school sweethearts.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually went to high school together. We met our, I want to say sophomore year of high school. And then he waited for me until senior year, and we started dating like first semester senior year of high school, and we broke it off our first year, freshman year, first semester. So we were together for like a year and a half, and we broke it off and then came back together, reconnected, and we began our journey on being a married couple together.
Wow. It started off as a fairy tale story.
Yes.
Beautiful in the beginning. You all built a family from there.
Yep.
And then the next few years during the relationship, it took a turn for the worst. Where, it went through its phases and what have you.
Right.
And then you all had the divorce finalized in December of 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
No, January actually of this year, the top of this year, January 2021. Mm-hmm.
Okay, January 2021. Okay, so it's kind of somewhat still fresh.
It is.
Yeah.
But mind you, we were separated. I filed for divorce December of 2019.
Gotcha.
So that March of 2020 is when I moved out of the marital home to go stay with my parents. So it's going over really 2 years now that we have been separated.
Yeah. Wow. Tough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We know. Yeah. And there is still a large number, if we can be very honest, there's still a large number of people who have either been divorced or are already going through the divorce proceedings, especially here in this country. It's unfortunate. But the fortunate thing for you is to fast forward, you have a new book out. Well, I got my copy just recently, which came out as an ebook, but it's a journal. It's more of a journal that you decided to show to the world. Yeah. Because this is something you could have kept to yourself.
Yes.
You know, when we talk about journals and diaries, it's more so of a private thing, a private possession to us to really go in and be vulnerable of our challenges, of our adversities, of our circumstances and situations, and put them in a book for only our eyes to see and not for the entire world to see. Right. But you decided to come out with what is considered as not just a journal, but a guide to help guide people through the journey of coming from a marriage that could not stand the test of time for that particular period. Right. But let's talk about why you made the decision to release a 30-day devotional journal to the public. And it's a devotional journal only because it is 30 days of, things and thoughts that you put into motion for people that you want people to be aware of. 30 days, that's a month. Right. So let's talk about it. What made you want to publicize this piece of material?
So for me, it was not having the tools of processing through my divorce. When I was going through it, I was wondering, are these feelings valid? Should I be feeling this way? How have other people gotten through a divorce? And when I looked online, I'm like, what is there for me to help me cope with a divorce of a loss? Because it's a loss, and it's a spiritual death. And so in that, I said, wow, I don't have anything to go to. So I'm a writer, and I create. And so I was like, why don't I create a 30-day guide to help people start the healing process on if they are going through a divorce, starting to go through a divorce, or a breakup, from a long-term relationship, or even any type of relationship. So that was my main goal, because for me, I didn't have a resource, and I said, why don't I create one for myself and then for other people?
Mm-hmm. And shout outs to Sierra Fly. Yes. She is one of the people. Yeah, she's one of the people that is a supporter of this project. She actually made a very beautiful foreword that she implemented into your journal. How did that come about?
Well, me and Fly have been friends for over 20 years. And so we actually started out as friends in high school as well. It's so funny. I'll tell you the story. She was the new girl. She moved into the neighborhood, and me and my other best friend, Janine, we were tight. And so she comes in, and her and my other best friend were about to fight over something crazy. And then I told my best friend, and I said, watch, y'all gonna end up being best friends. And sure enough, all of us ended up being best friends. And so it's so crazy how, our friendship came about, but the bond is still there. And it's like, we've been friends now for about 24, 25 years. And so that's the relationship I have with her. It's a sisterhood, man. I even shout out to them. I had a post with her and my best friend, Janine. Like, my journey couldn't have been possible without the two of them,
Yeah, big shout outs to Sierra, because we had her on the show a while back, and I really appreciate the synergy and the energy that she brought to one of the shows that we were doing at the time. So it was only right that your energy and her energy match to help put together this masterpiece.
Yes, yes. And I want to say something briefly, but I want to congratulate her and her husband. They just had a baby girl, Ariella Bobo. That's my god baby. So just want to say that little piece. But yes.
Nice, nice. Always very beautiful to bring a new life into the world.
Yes.
Yeah. But you consider it now, speaking of babies, this is your baby. Your
Yes,
guy.
this
Yeah.
is
Let love be your guide. This
guys.
is your baby.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you talk to us what the writing process was like for you?
So for me, I wanted to just put my raw emotions out there. So as I'm writing, it's like telling a story of how I'm feeling from day to day. I try not to, as writers, I think sometimes we try to be like, okay, I want this day to look like this and this chapter to be like this. For me, I said, okay, I'm gonna just let go and I'm gonna just write how I'm feeling, just off raw emotions, what's going on that day, how I'm processing through the feelings, who's involved, who's helping me, because I want people to know in real time that when you're processing through a divorce, especially, it's very hard and it's very challenging. So I wanted the reader to get like everything, the raw emotions, everything that I was feeling. I want you to feel it. I want you to know it is not something that you want to go through. I want you to think about it before you consider getting a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not easy. And so that's what we went into the writing process. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just write. And I'm not going to put myself in a box.
Yeah, I'm looking through the pages right now. 30 days.
Yes.
You start off with day 1.
Yeah.
And of course, you go from day 1 to day 2 to day 3 and so forth, so forth. Another observation I made as I was going through these pages was that you have scriptures that you picked from the Holy Bible.
Yes.
What was the motivation in putting the Bible scriptures into your journal? I know you from back in the day. You come from a very spiritual background, you know. But I'm just curious, and I know the listeners that are checking us out and watching us at the same time. We're curious, like, what made you want to implement those Bible scriptures into your devotional guide?
So God has always been my foundation. I was blessed to be raised by my grandmother. My mother, rest her soul, my late mother passed away when I was 1. So I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandmother and my grandfather, they kept us in the church. And so that's been my foundation. That's all I know. And so when I was going through this hard time, and it almost brings me to tears because I thank God for my grandparents for giving me the foundation of putting God first and just allowing me to get to know God for myself and for him being my foundation. And so when I was going through this rough time, I just went back to reading my Bible and getting encouragement from scriptures and asking God, who am I? Why am I going through this? And, he just started to speak to me, and he just started giving me scriptures. And I said, you know what, I'm going to let the scriptures be my motivation, and I'm going to let the scriptures encourage me. And then I'm going to write about how this scripture helped me through that day and how it encouraged me. And so the scriptures are the foundation of my faith and about me just putting God first and having him first and the first love in my life. And so that's what the scriptures are about. It basically, the scriptures took me through each day. I took it day by day because that's the only thing that I could do when processing through this difficult time in my life.
Yeah. And speaking of scriptures, there's one that I came across in the first page of your journal. Actually, let's take it to day 1 for a moment. Okay. And in your writing, you put in the Bible in Ephesians 5:25, it says, quote, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her," end quote. Yeah. That's a scripture from Ephesians 5:25. Were there times where you felt like in the marriage, if you care to be so candid with us. Were there times in the marriage where you felt like your husband at the time didn't love you enough?
I believe I do, but Sean, I'll be candid and I'll be honest. I didn't love myself enough. And so how could I'm expecting for somebody to come in and love me, but I didn't love myself and I didn't know my true worth. And so there's no way for anybody to come in and try to love me when you can't love yourself. It's just impossible, you know? So did I feel unloved at times? Absolutely I did, because I didn't love myself.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's heavy. You know, I had this thing, I've talked to a couple of people of mine when it comes to talking about relationships and dating. And I said to all of them, like, hey, look, I can make you laugh. I can make you smile. Yeah. I can make you think.
Yeah.
But I can't make you happy.
No. Yes. Yes.
I can't make you happy.
Come on now.
Do you know how hard it is, especially for us guys? Because I can only speak from a male's point of view. But do you know how hard it is to make a woman happy all the time? You know?
Yeah. 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 And so that's where the book and the comes into play, where you have to, through these 30 days, you have to learn to love yourself through the process. And I don't want to give too much away, but ultimately let love be your guide. That's what this is. Letting love be your guide, because at the end of the day, it is you. You are the person that makes you happy. You and God, that's it. You know, and so you can't expect anybody else to come in, you know, and try to make you happy. If you're not even happy with yourself, you don't know who you are. So.
Right. Without happiness, you can't love yourself.
Exactly.
You just can't. No.
And I think that a lot of people are afraid to be in that space where they are single, because they don't know how to truly just do things by themselves and maneuver, you know, and be okay with being by yourself. But I had to learn that, and I'm still learning that each day. But I think that's the downfall in relationships. We attach, you know, happiness, and we try to put it on people, you know, and we attach ourselves to things and people and things, you know, to make us happy, when truly you can't do that. You know, you have to be happy with yourself and learn how to be in that space and be uncomfortable. Because the thing is, it is uncomfortable, you know, being single and then like going on a solo trip by yourself. It is uncomfortable being single and going, you know, dating yourself, taking yourself out. But it's you're learning to love yourself, and you're learning to date yourself. And what are the things that you like aside from this person that you're in a relationship? What are the things that you like? And so the true problem is, and I know you said we'll get into it later, is, you know, just learning to love ourselves first.
Hitting some great points right there. For those who are just tuning in to the Beat Break Morning Show, Dominique, Shantel on the live line with yours truly, the architect, Sean Garvey. We are talking about the new 30-day devotional journal by Dominique Shantel, which is called Let Love Be Your Guide, Volume 1. And it's Volume 1 because I assume that there is going to be a Volume 2 real soon. There is. It's going to be coming soon. Yes. Wait for it. But in the meantime, we're talking about Volume 1 right now. And the 30-day devotional journal centers on healing from a divorce or relationship. I want to piggyback on what you just said a few moments ago, because I did talk to you offline about a recent video you published via YouTube about the issue on why relationships don't work. Care to expound a little bit more on that? Because I know just from personal experiences the issues that two people can face in a relationship that can cause it to meet its demise, whether it's after 6 months or after 3 years. It's so much stuff.
Right.
And it kind of also coincides with your 30-day devotional journal. But in the meantime, can you expound a little bit on the YouTube video?
Yeah. So I made the video because I was like, man, if I was struggling with this, who else is struggling with this issue? The number one reason why relationships fail is because people are not happy with themselves or don't know themselves and don't love themselves. And so I believe, we go into relationships not knowing who we are, not knowing what we like to do. And we come together with this other person, and it's like we're looking for love, we're looking for that feeling, and it's like, okay, this is all good, this is all chummy in the beginning, but then after that you're like, oh man, like what did I get myself into? Like you got these issues, like you had these red flags, I just ignored them, like what's going on? And so I was just saying that you really have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. So what does that look like? That's setting boundaries for yourself, what you will and won't put up with, how you want to be talked to. Like the example of how I want to be talked to, things that I like to do. What do I find to be true about myself? Let's just say case in point, if you date somebody that likes to go to strip clubs, you know what I'm saying? I'm just using this as an example. And you don't like to go to strip clubs and you be in their environment, you know what I'm saying? But you're like, oh, I'm gonna get into a relationship and I think I'm gonna try to change him to not go to strip clubs or whatever. Well, no, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he likes to do. What do you like to do? Maybe that's something that he can do, in his spare time with his guys or whatever. Love doesn't seek to change anybody. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to love yourself and know what you like to do, and know your other person, they might not be exactly like you. In fact, they're probably not, but you have to learn to love those differences and love that person where they are and evolve with that person, So, yeah.
No, but what if, just to play devil's advocate for a little bit,
Yeah.
what if someone or some people say, well, I don't agree, because you can still be in love with yourself. You can still have self-love in you, invite that person into your life, into the relationship, and things can still go wrong. Like the sex could be bad. You are on 2 different levels in your life as far as career-wise, or just other things, or, infidelity and things that, and we talked about that before in our podcast episode with you. But what do you have to say to those people that say, well, no, hey, a relationship can still go wrong, or marriage can still go wrong, and you can have as much love within yourself as you want?
Right. I believe that at that point, then love becomes a choice, which it is. Right. So you're right. You can love yourself. You can be great with yourself and spend that time alone. But again, if you have someone, like you said, if the sex is bad, is that a deal breaker for you? If that's a deal breaker for you, then yeah, you probably don't need to be in a relationship with that person. You know what I'm saying? If the sex is bad. But if you can learn to deal with, bad sex, just using that as an example, then okay, you two can grow together. You can learn together. You can make recommendations like, say, hey, babe, let's go to this class on how to, love on me or make love to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. So it then becomes a choice. If you don't, you make suggestions, and you can't change anybody. That's the thing. I feel like that's what we go into relationships. I'll be honest, at 25, I thought I could change my ex-husband, my children's father. I thought I could change him. But, he was who he was, and I was who I was. And So that intention right there, I went into it wrong. I can truly say I went into it wrong. So again, like I said, at the end of the day, love, then it is a choice. Once you decide to get past that, the bad sex, or I'm loving on myself, it becomes a choice. Then what are you willing to take and what are you willing to give? Okay. And then, most people are not willing to, a lot of people are not willing to love unconditionally. And we can get into that all day. Like, most people love on conditions. If you're not doing this for me, then I'm not going to do this. I'm going to match your energy. What? Somebody told me that. I was like, so I was talking to this dude, sorry, just to get off, but he was like, I match people energy. If they do this to me, I do that to them. I'm like, oh, okay, we definitely can't talk. Because when I'm feeling funky one day and I'm not in a good mood, you mean to tell me you can't be loving and you can't be understanding? Because then, like I said, love becomes a choice. You're choosing to give me that bad energy. You're choosing to be disrespectful to me. I don't need nobody like that. That's not something I'm willing to put up with. Okay. And so I hope that answered your question.
No, I mean, it did. And going back to the video, you did talk about that. You did share that there will be times where you will be in a bad funk. You won't really be yourself. It could just be a bad day you had or something that you're going through. And it takes a special person, a partner, a husband or a significant other or mate to try to listen and try to understand what you're going through and stuff like that. Like it took me a minute to finally get it. Yeah. Because, us guys in our past relationships, and I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship one time. Well, not so much of a relationship, but I was dating this one sister at one time. And she would be in a bad funk every now and then. She would be moody. And I'd be like, hey, what's going on with you? Like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you just talk to me or what have you? And the communication wasn't there. Yeah. And I got to thinking like, okay, what does my approach look like? Do I need to change my approach and just be more comforting, a little bit more understanding, as opposed to saying, what is wrong with you?
Right.
You know what I mean? What is wrong with you and what have you? Should I just be more like, hey, I'm here for you if you ever need to talk, if you need some time. I had to think like, okay, maybe I need to switch up my approach. Right. And guys, you're going to hear a woman say this very often. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm fine. And I had to pick up on it. I had to pick up on it later on, Dominique. I had to be like, no, you're not fine. Let's talk. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's communicate.
Yeah, let's communicate. And let me say something to that real quick, and then I'm gonna circle back. But if communication in that instance, if communication is a deal breaker for you, then you know that either one, you're going to help that person through it or say, hey, for me, this doesn't work. The way you communicate, that's something that I'm not willing to put up with, right? So that's a boundary for you. That's a deal breaker. I can't be with you. Or you make a choice and say, you know what, I love this person enough to, when she's feeling like that, I'm gonna give her some time. I know her enough. I'll give her a couple days. She'll come around. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. So that's in knowing yourself. So I talk about that too in the video. Knowing thyself. Is that a deal breaker for you? Because if it's a deal breaker for you, you know that, okay, you're not going to be around too long, because if she acts like that, you're going to feel rejected, pushed off, and so that's something where you have to communicate to your partner and say, hey, this doesn't work for me. I got to move on. Or I'm going to love you through it and say, hey, I'm going to get you the help that you need or give you a couple days to work through this yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Right. We all have choices. Absolutely. Right, exactly. So let's go back to the book or to the journal. Let Love Be Your Guide, Volume 1.
Yes.
Let's stay on day one for a moment.
Yeah.
You start off day one by saying, I remember the first day I filed for divorce. it was, like you illustrated earlier, December 17, 2019, a day I can never forget. Would it be fair to say this was the worst day in your entire life? Would it be fair to say that?
Yes, I can say it was. Yeah, it was.
We all had our bad days in the past. I would say we spoke offline, Dominique. I say to relate to what you just said, I felt like the breakup I had recently with my last ex, it was the worst day of my life.
Yeah. It was. It was like, if I can describe it, it was like a Mack truck hitting me, or like a ton of bricks. It was heavy. It was. And so thinking back to that day, I try to block out the emotions even now, because it's like those feelings of just feeling unloved and not satisfied and rejected. Those all come back to me, when I think about that day. But I'm so glad that I know that my feelings or my emotions don't control me, So it was the worst day in my life. Yeah.
And this is day one.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
I'm gonna jump to another day in the journal.
Okay.
But before we do that, what do you want people to take away from day one?
So day one, I just want people to take away that it's okay to feel the way you feel, and it's okay to process the divorce or breakup the way you're processing it. The questions that you have are all valid. The way you're feeling, what's going through your mind, it's real, And so from day one, I just want you to know that you will make it through it, but all those just raw emotions, those feelings are valid.
Okay, that's day one. Let's jump over to day 5. This definitely caught my attention a lot more going through the journal. Yeah. We're on day 5. You have Exodus 14, chapters 13 through 14.
Yeah.
Or verses, I'm sorry, Exodus chapter 14, verses 13 through 14. And it says, quote, Moses answered the people, do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still, end quote. That is from Exodus 14, verse 13 through 14. Now, in the beginning, we're on day 5 now.
Yeah.
You say, I'm not only asking to be loved and validated when I come through this divorce, but I want to be delivered from the sin that entangles me. That sin for me is sex. Can we talk about what?
Oh, no, I was gonna say,
did you ask, can we talk about sex?
You gave away the juicy part. They gotta read
it. You want me to read the whole thing? What?
No, I said stop right there. You're supposed to stop right there.
Oh, okay. I'm supposed to stop right there after entangles me.
No, yeah, but you're good though. Yeah. Okay. No, you're good.
All right, So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I won't even go further. Like I we don't do no spoiler alerts here, but let's talk about that part of day 5.
Yeah. So for so long, I was giving of my body, and I can say this truly now, and not knowing my worth. And so in doing that, and the type of woman that I am, and the person that I am, the way I love, and the way I love people, and then the way I love my romantic partners, it's a different type of love. I can tell you, I can say confidently now, I truly love people unconditionally, and I always give them the benefit of the doubt. I do know that the love that I give to people, it's very special. And for anybody to experience that, I know that it's magical. And so, and not a lot of people love the way I do. And I'm not coming from a place of arrogance, but just knowing who I am and the type of person that I am. So I know that about myself. So for me, when I was giving up my body, I was green, Sean. I thought that I was giving up my body like these men or people that I would be with. And this is before my husband, even my ex-husband, that they would, love me back the same way that I would love them or was giving my body. And that's not so. And so it took me a while to learn that before my ex-husband, that stopped because we got married. But God had to deliver me from that, because after, my divorce, I went back to that same mindset, like the giving of myself. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you are worth so much more. And you giving your body, it's to just people, you can't do that, because you are valuable, you are precious. And the way you love, you have to protect that and protect your energy. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been there. And I think that there are people, to be fair, there are people that feel like, I should have not slept with this person. I should have not given my body to that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We sometimes have those regrets.
Yeah. And know that when you give your body to somebody, it forms a covenant between you and that person and an expectation. So ladies, I'm telling you, if you can't see yourself with a man, do not give your body to him, because in the end, it hurts you. It hurts us. I'm telling you, because I've done it several times. And so don't do it. Wow.
I was going to ask you another question, but I think I'm going to wait to ask you that on the next episode, because there's this new thing. Well, it's not so much new. I think the phrase is new to a lot of people, but there is the whole phase.
The what? The whole phase.
The whole phase. Yeah. Is the whole phase. Have you heard about that?
I heard of the whole phase. Yeah.
Okay. People have mixed feelings about that.
Depending on, I guess, for me, because I ain't gonna lie, definitely went through it. However, and I want to, like I said, I want to be transparent and share my story, because I want to live my truths and I want to help people live their truths too. So, because the whole phase does exist, however, at some point, sisters, okay, I woke up and I was like, okay, this is not who I want to be. This is not where I want to be in my life. I don't want to forever be giving of my body and then someone not reciprocating the love. Because it's only, for me, my belief is that it's only a certain amount of time that a woman can keep giving of herself, and not feel empty or drained. Okay. At some point, somebody has to pour back into that cup. Okay. You can't keep taking. And so I guess I got to a point where I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired of pouring into trifling cups, cups that don't know my worth. I'm tired of pouring into it. So I'm going to stop. Okay. And now I'm ready to move forward. I know my worth. I'm walking into what I know my worth to be. I'm walking into who I know I am and what I want to be. And that's it.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Knowing your worth. I think that's very important.
Yes.
Going into any relationship or before going into any relationship.
Right.
I'm a believer that the whole phase is not for everyone. It's not.
Right.
Some people are not meant to be in a monogamous relationship. Yeah. If you don't have the mindset for that, then you can continue on doing you.
Right.
Just as long as you're not doing it with a person who doesn't share the same ideology or the same mindset as you.
Right.
That's all they can leave. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
I agree.
Then, it's up to the person, whoever it is, man or woman, to know that you know your worth. That's not what I want. Keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? You can go find somebody else who's wants that, whatever you got going on,
We talked about day 1 and then we jumped into day 5.
Yeah.
Take us from day 5 to day 15, because this is a story of you filing for divorce. You're going through the emotions, you're going through the motions, you're going through all these different scenarios. Now, take us from day 5, because I know we jumped a little bit. Yeah. Take us from day 5 to day 15. Where are we at in the story?
So on this day, we're halfway through the journey. And so you can say, as Beyonce and Nicki say, I'm feeling myself a little, I'm feeling.
Okay.
I'm feeling myself, like 2 Corinthians 4:16 says, therefore, if we do not lose heart, even though our outward man is perishing, yet the inward man is being renewed day by day. So even though on the outside, I'm kind of feeling like, oh man, down. I don't feel like, I don't feel good, but you know what? I have to renew my mind every day. And so this is a point where I'm reflecting on myself growing and me celebrating that I'm not where I was on day 1. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm okay right here, kind of thing. And me just surrounding myself with the right people to help me on my journey and to help me in growing. And that's what the focus is on day 15.
So it's a process for you, coming from day 1, day 2, day 3, and so forth. Day 15, you have a support system by that time.
Yeah.
That are helping you get through the obstacles that you're going through prior to you filing for a divorce.
Yeah.
From your ex-husband. And so it kind of gets a little bit suspenseful coming out after day 15, because you still have to get to day 30. Yeah. You still have to get to day 30. So between day 15 and day 30, you got to go through day 16, 17, 18, 19, and so forth. And is there a point in time where you and your ex-husband at the time tried to sit down and work things out? Is that, and we don't want to give too much away to the listeners and the viewers, because we definitely want them to go out and support your book. Right. But I mean, would it be fair to say that it is kind of a little bit suspenseful between day 15 and day 30? Not, the reader or the potential reader not knowing what's going to happen between day 15 and day 30? Will it throw some people off? That's what I'm asking. Will it throw some people off?
Right.
After they get done reading day 15, between day 15 and day 30?
don't believe it will. No, I don't think it. No, it won't. The book is about progression, and so the way I process through everything, it does get suspenseful because I include these stories and where I'm very detailed.
Yeah.
In my growth and my healing. And so you may get thrown off, but at the end of the day, I think you know the outcome. You know what I'm saying? And so in hope that you would take from each day what you will, you know, and that it inspires you.
Yeah, because here's my take on it from reading day 1 to day 30. If we can just be totally transparent, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why you have Let Love Be Your Guide Volume 1. And there's there's going to be a Volume 2.
Okay, I get
You
what you're
planning
getting
to
at.
release? You see, that's why I asked that question.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because there is going to be a Volume 2.
Yes.
So that lets me know that the book is not done yet.
Yeah.
It's just day 1 to day 30. Okay, so there's going to be a day 31.
No.
A day 32. Okay, let's talk about it.
So this is the book, I think ultimately in the end. So this is a 30-day guide on me processing through my divorce, getting through my divorce. So I just want to be clear. There's not going to be a day 31 or 32. No, it's going to cut off at day 30. And hopefully you will read it back, you know, and maybe you may get some revelation. But what I will say is in the end, I think you'll be surprised. You're thinking one way, thinking when something is going to happen, when in the end, you know, it happens. What happens for me, I tell you what happens at the end, what I had to end up doing anyway. So, so that's the end, day 30. But volume 2 is going to consist of actually teaching people, walking you through day by day. And I'm actually writing it right now. The volume 2 is already done. I just have to go back and do some editing and have my editor look at it as well. But volume 2 deals with learning to love yourself. So, okay, after this brokenness, let me give you 30 days to start the process of learning to love yourself, you know? And the books are meant to be a guide to help you start the process. Your ultimate process and journey is up to you. What you decide to do with it after the 30 days, that's on you. But I just wanted to give people the tools and give myself the tools to start the process and open up the conversations on healing.
I'm just a hopeful romantic. I still believe in second chances, if you will.
Okay.
I believe in second chances. There was a point in time when me and Sharia interviewed you on Love and Poetry. And the question was asked, well, do you still have feelings for this person? Do you think that if the two of you all, you and your ex-husband at the time, went to counseling, would it have worked? And you said yes. Things may have changed if we did X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? But I'm just a person that feels like there could be second chances involved. But if our listeners can go back and listen and watch the Love and Poetry podcast that me and Sharia Thomas did with you, Dominique, Shantel, I can understand why some listeners will be like, nah, she doesn't need to go back. Nope. Sorry, she needs to move on. No, because you did share some very explicit details on some things that happened during the course of your marriage that wasn't supposed to happen or should have not happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So I will say that And I think about this all the time. Would we have gotten a divorce if we would have went to counseling? I believe, it's my belief that at the end of the day, we were two souls that ultimately grew apart. And I feel like some people you grow with and some people you grow apart from. And we were definitely the latter. We grew apart. And so with me knowing who I am today, I do not believe that I could become the best version of myself with my children's father.
That's deep. That's deep. I mean, something great, something very powerful and a blessing came out of this. Yeah. You all have kids with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So in some form or fashion, there's going to always still be that connection between you and your ex-husband because of the kids.
Absolutely. And we have a co-parenting, a friendship, a co-parenting style. And so, you know, it's all about the kids at the end of the day. And we both know that. And so if it benefits the kids, it's okay. You know, we're okay with it. Whatever will help the kids. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let Love Be Your Guide, Volume 1, 30-day devotional journal on healing from a divorce or relationship.
Yes.
People will hear this interview, watch this interview, and hopefully save some marriages or even possibly help people that have already went through the process after getting a divorce and are experiencing a form of mental health. We talk about mental health a lot because it does play a role. It does play a role in it.
It does.
And so, the objective of this book is to help guide people through the process, because it's not an easy process.
No,
some people think like, oh, you know, I got a divorce. Okay, party time, celebrate, woohoo, and all that. But that's not the case.
Yeah, no, it's not the case. People have divorce parties and stuff. Now, I didn't want to have no divorce party. I ain't gonna lie. But you know, some people, it's different for different people. And if you do have a divorce party, okay, whatever you decide to do, you know, I'm not judging at all. Just for me, I didn't want to have a divorce party, and it wasn't not one of the things that I wanted to do. But you know, at the end of the day, you have to make a decision for yourself. Nobody can make it for you, only you. You are in that relationship. You know how you feel, and so But my ultimate, what I want to say is, you know, like I'm always in everything, every interview or conversation, that you just ultimately just let love be your guide in your life, you know, forever and always. So.
Right. That's true. True indeed. So the book release is the book already out, or I keep saying a book, but to me it is a book. So it's already out.
Book. So it's already out. It's on Amazon, e-Kindle, and then the physical copies are being mailed out now. So the book has been released. October the 12th was the release date.
Nice. And you also sell it on your website, right? People can go to your website.
Yeah, so I actually right now I just have it on my IG, so it's on Amazon. If you go to the link in my bio, you will see it. It's at Dominique Shantel on IG. Or you can search it on Amazon. You can just type in "Let Love Be Your Guide" and it'll pop right up. Volume 1. Yep.
Right. And it's going down in a couple of days. In November, you are going to have your book release party. Will this be your actual first book release party?
Yes, it will be. So it's November 13th. And it's from 5 to 7. And you can also go to my IG and you can click on the link in my bio at Dominique Shantel in the link in my bio. So you can register RSVP for the event. Space is limited, due to COVID, but if you would like to come, please come out. It's a free event. Okay. So you don't have to pay anything. Just come out and celebrate with me. Masks are required. So yeah, we want to stay safe. But yeah, I'm excited
Absolutely.
about it. It's going to be at the Lilburn Activity Center, Community Center in Lilburn, Georgia, from 5 to 7 on November 13th. So come out and support your girl, y'all.
Nice. And you're surely going to be out there in the place to be, of course.
Yes, you are. Yes, I'm excited to have you as a sponsor. So I really appreciate it. I'm excited.
What can people expect from the book release party?
So it's going to be an experience. I won't give away too much, but it will be a celebration, and I will be reading a few days, in the book that pretty much stuck out to me and that kind of were instrumental and pivotal in my journey in processing through the divorce.
Okay. All right. More and more reasons to come out and support Dominique Shantel.
Yeah.
She is going to be at her own book release party and hosting it. So we definitely want to encourage everybody to come out and attend to help support the new book that is out right now called Let Love Be Your Guide, Volume 1, 30-day devotional journal on healing from a divorce or relationship. And once again, Dominique, let the people know where it's going to be taking place at. One more time.
Yes, so it's the Little Burn Activity Center or Little Burn Community Center. It's the same thing. It's in Little Burn, Georgia from 5 to 7 p.m. The address, I'm so bad. I can pull it up really quickly though.
Okay. And we'll be more than happy to reiterate the information to our listeners and viewers before the date of the book release party, because we want to get as many seats filled as possible. And we want people to, especially if you're going through a situation right now, going through a divorce or a relationship, trouble in paradise type of thing, we definitely want you to come out and get some great advice, wisdom, and information from somebody who has overcame those obstacles in a marriage, because it's definitely not easy. I've never been married, but I have been in a relationship. I have been in two or three serious relationships that I could say were serious relationships at the time, and they really, really took a toll on me, like really bad. And it and it helps you grow.
Yeah.
As you get older, it helps you grow along the way. Yep.
It does. So yeah, come on out, support, and we will have music. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna dance. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna cry probably, but we're gonna have a good time. So
yeah, there's gonna be some single people at the book release.
Oh yeah,
some people who. Okay.
For sure. Yeah, it ain't gonna stop there, folks. Come on now.
All right. Of course. We're going to talk about divorce and breakups, but we're going to also try to see if we can bring some people together. How about that?
Yes. And it'll be a Q&A too, for you to ask me questions, So we're going to have a good time, y'all. Come out. Space is limited, so it's only a certain amount of tickets. So make sure you, you RSVP.
All right. There you have it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dominique Shantel on the Beat Break Morning Show. And Dominique, we got to have you back on because I have a major announcement to share with everybody and how Dominique is involved. People are already aware about one of the projects that I'm currently working on, but as soon as we finalize everything, we will let the entire world know what is getting ready to happen and who all is involved. It's a project that I'm working on. A lot of you are already aware about it. but I want to let the listeners know who all is going to be a part of the project. And I want to have the one and only Dominique Shantel be on the show when I make that announcement. How about that?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I support you.
We got to support each other. That's what it's all about.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the top of the hour right here on the Beat Break Morning Show. And we are getting ready for the caffeine and energy drink mix by our very own DJ Roll-Up. And big shout outs to all the guests that came on the Beat Break Morning Show this morning as we talked about the space program, a very informative subject. And if you missed any of this morning's highlights of the show, you can check us out on demand. Reach One Network on TuneIn, or just download the Podcast FM app. That's all you got to do. We have an on-demand podcast section for you to go back and listen to archives of the Beat Break Morning Show, including this morning show. All right. So DJ Roll-Em, he's getting ready to put it in the mix for you. The caffeine and energy drink mix right here on the Beat Break Morning Show. Let's go.
It's the Beat Break Morning Show with Sean Garvey and the crew. Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.